It's your girl Britt, and welcome to Beauty Told. Again, your podcast for relationship advice, where I'm having fabulous guests on, where we are taking relationship topics and we are deep diving into them. Again, with overall change being that you guys can have a more positive and healthy relationship. This is the first time ever actually on Beauty Told that this has ever went down. I have a licensed professional, so we're not just talking, y'all. We get to have actual expertise in the game, okay? I almost want to nickname you Dr. Love today. You know, I feel it like Dr. Love.
Dr. Fields.
Okay.
Dr. Fields. Dr. Fields.
Dr. Fields. Okay, we're going to go with that.
In my feelings.
But we're going to go with the real name first and then, AKA. And it is Dr. William C. Washington. Welcome to Beauty Told.
I am excited to be here.
I'm so excited. This is well needed. And I cannot wait for you guys to be blessed by the best. All right? So listen, y'all, I was trying to think of a topic and I kept playing around with it. Oh, of course, the fabulous Faith Journal. Here to keep us on topic, y'all. But more than that is going to help me to know what the topic was that I had. And I think I'm going to go with...
You have a whole book of topics in there. I just saw that.
I do. This thing's been faithful, okay? This ain't just a Faith Journal for no reason, y'all.
It's walked by faith.
It's been, listen.
It's walked by faith.
You better say well, it does say it, but It's been walking, talking, keeping me together, and it's literally have kept me through a lot of episodes, y'all. Look at all this.
Wow. No,
I've been having fun.
I can toast to that.
Yes, listen. We're in for a good one, y'all. And I think I want to go with patterns in love, because a lot of us don't sometimes pick up on those patterns. So a lot of us, we're going to get the psychology behind how some of us are approaching dating and relationships. Because it gets tricky, it gets sticky, it gets messy. And a lot of us don't sometimes pick up on the other person and the negative things they got going on. Or we're not looking in the mirror and seeing what we got wrong going on that we need to get adjusted so we can have those healthy relationships. So before I go into more detail, Dr. Will, tell them more about what you do, how you be doing it, with the Washington Wellness Institute and all that. Like, give them all the tea on that.
Okay, I'll start from the beginning. So I am Dr. William C. Washington. I go by Dr. Will, your friendly neighborhood counselor, and I am owner of Washington Wellness Institute. One of the biggest things is that we take modern medicine, modern psychology, and making it holistic. Okay. And so for me, I'm a health psychologist, licensed therapist, a hypnotherapist, an internal family systems therapist, which means, have you ever seen the movie Inside Out 1 and 2? That's the therapy that they actually use. So we use parts work, right? Okay. Yep, and I train Black therapists all over the nation and people all over the world on how to be an IFS therapist. Okay. I'm also a psychedelic integrative therapist. So ketamine, I'm also licensed or certified in MDMA, even though it's not legal yet. Okay. But it's the use of psychedelics in healing, because sometimes we do need a deeper connection. Yeah. And sometimes psychedelics can actually do that. And it opens up a heart space that many people have kind of closed off because of trauma or betrayal or intimacy issues, right? And then I've also created my own healing modality, which I call Reset. And it means remove every saturation, embrace truth. And so during the pandemic, I actually did research on moral distress on physicians. Okay. And so moral distress is knowing the right thing to do, but because of a barrier or constraint, you can't perform at your best ability. And so it causes this thing called secondary trauma. So burnout, compassion fatigue, job life satisfaction issues. And we don't realize that we have been going through this conditioning of traumatic experiences. So if I see what you're going through, it actually affects me. And so my research was like, how can I reset this? And so what I did is create secondary healing. Okay. So if I can create the healing experience for you, it also gives me the ability to feel healing myself. And so the modality changes trauma to purpose, illness to wellness, and it creates a collective emotional responsibility based upon self-awareness. So when it comes to love, some people are addicted to love, just no different than a drug or alcohol or any other type of narcotic. Love is also can become a disease as well. So we have to understand that the way that we're addicted to love comes from a lot of trauma pain, which we're going to talk about. So, because people got to be how you're trauma bonding.
And that's the part that I think is like the biggest one, because even me myself, when I was married, I didn't notice, because when you get older, you walk away, because mine was childhood trauma, and you think you're fine. You've swept it under the rug all this time. It's fine. But then you try to love a person, and you can't really do that necessarily, and I started to really realize that, aside from him pointing it out sometimes, and he would point out at the wrong time, y'all. So don't nobody want to hear it when we're in an argument.
Timing is everything and nothing at the same time.
Yes, like now you just try to take a stab at me while we. So no, I'm not gonna receive it right. But when I really got to really sit with myself, in the midst of like my marriage falling apart, that I did the self-reflecting. I looked in the mirror and said, Brittany, what's going on with you that you need to change in a positive way? And that's when I realized that what I went through as a child, unfortunately, it obviously had long-term effects. And therapy helped to be able to start pulling those layers and start realizing what all was that it wasn't my fault, but being able to accept that it wasn't my fault, and it just, just realizing that I am enough. Because a lot of what you sometimes put yourself through is because you know.
But Brittany, when you realize the "I am enough" part, that's chapter 10.
I know.
So let's bring it back. You hit the finish line like. Because we gotta start at. There are a lot of adult children still.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Right.
That's
and so there are people existing as adult children.
Yeah.
Because of their traumas and not learning. And a lot of times trauma chases familiarity. And trauma chases convenience.
Yeah.
Out of survival. And so sometimes we get into those patterns that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And we don't even realize we set ourselves up for our own sabotage emotionally. So that's why we have to learn to become emotionally responsible as adults.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means accepting that we are adult children still.
Ooh. That's good right there. You're right, because it is a lot of immaturity. So adult children walking around here saying I'm fine, won't take ownership, won't take accountability, won't take the necessary steps to find that. Now, Dr. Will, in your experience, as a licensed professional, how does that usually work? Does someone just have to just come to that realization to finally say that maybe it is me? Because not everybody, I've noticed a lot of people walk through this world and they never recognize that there's some things that needed adjusting within them.
That's a hard question. And I think I would like to go the codependency route with that, if that's okay.
Okay.
So you know how we talk about the victim, the abuser, the rescuer.
Yes.
Right. So let's just get a brief scenario, the grounding
let's
of that.
Do it.
So,
let's do it.
So the victim is the person that has been through the trauma or the issue, right? The emotional neglect, the emotional abuse. It could be, the abuse can happen in 5 different ways, right? You have physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, and also digital abuse.
Right? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know about that too. Okay, all right.
Right.
All right.
So, and it's important, especially as adults.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that if we're looking at financial abuse, most women, if they had an extra $500 to $800 a month coming to them, they probably wouldn't be in most situationships or circumstances that they're in.
Wow.
If they had the financial liberation that they deserve to have or they needed.
True.
So just even that, the empowerment of just financial. How do I rely on my life financially? And especially in the Black community, financial literacy.
Yeah.
It's such a damning trait.
Yeah.
So I mean, just financial abuse is really important to look at. That we don't talk about. So that's the victim, right? That's the victim, is the person that goes through the traumatic experience.
Okay.
Then you have the abuser, which is the person that the perpetrator or the assailant or someone that causes this trigger, someone that causes the harm, someone that causes the actual unnatural experience, right? And then we go to the rescuer. The rescuer is somebody that they look for the victim. And they try to help save them, try to fix them, try to be there for them. They very overextensive about their care to the point where they end up hurting themselves because the victim doesn't give them what they want, or they don't really get the result that they needed. So they keep trying to fix and go find and try to stand up really hard to an abuser, or they try to keep doing this external work.
Yeah.
But they don't do the internal work, right? Okay. And then the one that's in my healing modality, I also put the opposite of a rescuer as a savior. So the savior is the person that feels like they have to always make the sacrifice to make it worth it. They can't just be themselves. They can't just be enough. Okay. Something has to cost for them to feel like they're enough. Wow. And so for me, it's a four piece. Okay. Codependency, right? Okay. And that's something that, when I hear many Black women talk about imposter syndrome, even, that's a part of the codependency cycle of what their relationship is and what they think they should be. Honestly, well, I don't know if I should say this out loud. Come on and say it. It's too late now. I guess it's too. I know, right? Come on, okay. On. Well, okay. So, imposter syndrome is a form of whiteness. Oh, okay. And so, a lot of times, the ability to, it's always trying to become that next thing. You got to be the next thing. Am I good enough? Am I this? Is this enough? That questioning is a part of that capitalistic supremacy mindset where it's like, you have to go beyond. You have to go beyond. You're not enough. You have to get that extra degree. You have to get the PhD and you then get the degree and then also be a full-time mother and also have to get 4 extra jobs. Oh, and make sure you get your master's too at the end of that. Oof. At what point do you question self-worth? Yeah. Am I enough? And so going all the way back to this, relationships, adult children. Adult children. We are searching for, what does safety mean? Okay. What does security look like? And what does wholeness look like as a lifestyle? That's true. We don't live our lives holistically. Okay. Right? We feel like we have to sacrifice something, or we've been through too much, or we feel like we're becoming the problem. We keep exaggerating the problem, or we end up trying to rescue other people. Wow. So that's a lot. But we have to ground it with, like, this is the foundation, because those patterns are going to come navigate through this when we talk. I know it is. I can already feel it. Well, you listen. It's already starting off real good, ain't it, y'all? Yeah. Because listen, when I tell you that the trauma part of it, when you don't address it, you do tend to be, sometimes without even intending to be, you are like the abuser. And I found myself doing that in my marriage. We're afraid to say that we've been an abuser. Yeah. Right. That was a hard pill to swallow, though, because I was in denial for many years about that. Yeah. And that's why I'm willing to tell my truth, because, again, I hope it helps to free somebody, to help them to be able to recognize, like, oh, maybe it's not all of them. Because a lot of people are so quick to do this, to point at other people, but rarely do they take the time to address what issues they may be battling within themselves. You know what I mean? And that's that secondary healing. The fact that you're willing to say your truth is going to make people have a language to speak theirs and live theirs. That's amazing that you're doing that. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I'm hoping so. And again, when we speak of, the healing, because someone told me this, and it does make sense, that we're never fully healed, but as long as you're actually in that mode of constantly doing the things to be able to be healed, like, then you should be searching for someone who is also doing the same. But what I've noticed in a lot of relationships, though, is that you do have, or you tend to have, a lot of people that do need to be healed, but you got to unhealed people, that tend to attract to themselves. Like, is it necessarily they're attracted, or do they sometimes, that trauma actually attracts them together? Like, they actually complete each other's trauma story. Really? Right? That's trauma bonding. Okay. Right? Like, yeah. What I'm unhealed with and what you're unhealed with, you actually fit what was missing in my trauma story. So they relive their story through other relationships. That's why I like in serial dating and serial daters. The real thing is, like, what story are you trying to finish? What story are you trying to live through? Yeah. What character are you in this story where you keep repeating yourself with the same type of people? Yeah. Why are you looking for the same type of broken women? Why are you trying to find the same type of broken men? Why are you trying to find the same situations, but then be mad that you're stuck in the same position? What story are you trying to complete? And that's a part of that trauma bond. And they say, the thing is that healing is a lifestyle. And that's something that we promote.
Okay,
It's not a finish line, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so at our institute we try to create and promote that, because having a mental health issue isn't the problem. It's how you're living through it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I like that.
And so as the healers there in my company, at least, they understand that, okay, we all have depression in some sense.
Yeah.
Guilty. Okay, but you still pay taxes, still do bills, you still got so how can we normalize your depression by how you're living life? Yeah. What is the normal you need to live? And sometimes we aren't given that space or the luxury of being held patiently in that space, because our world is so quick.
It's very quick.
So
I call it microwave.
We don't get to put it on the fire. we don't get to put our healing on the fire.
We don't let it get to like nice.
Yeah, we don't let it simmer.
We don't let it simmer. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, that's good, because a lot of times too, like I said, with the trauma bonding, is that you will find yourself in situations, or should I say situationships, that you maybe, didn't intend to be in, and before you realize it, it had been years that you'd been caught.
Or circumstantials. I call them circumstantials too.
Oh, really?
So okay. Situationships and circumstantials are different. Situationships is like, I see what you're going through, but I'm not going to acknowledge it. You see what I'm going through, but I'm not going to acknowledge it. But we're going to play house. And just make it, we'll see what happens. Circumstantials is like, you realize that this person's going to fit the circumstance of what you're not trying to fix right now. So you might date down. Or, a lot of times I see that a lot. People date down because of circumstance. They can still navigate power over them. Oof. Right. Wow. I'd rather date someone lower so that I can have control over the situation. So it won't happen to me again. Wow. Right. 1 second.
Oh, okay. That might have been when because I had flicked it when I grabbed my faith journal. That might have been when it was.
Okay. Is this okay? My hand like this?
Yeah, we can still see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. All right. So, all right. I'm trying to go back to where we was talking about
circumstances, situations
versus situationships. Yes. So, Dr. Will, when it comes to let's put healing back into this situation. So let's say that someone is in, I guess, either one of those situations, to be honest, whether it be a situationship or circumstanceship. Did I just make my own word?
I like it, though. Keep it going, though. Let's go. We make new words on this podcast. Make my own word. I'm putting a dictionary.
Beauty-toed dictionary in a minute, y'all. I got y'all. Yeah. But when it comes to that, let's say someone does, let's say, come to an epiphany and realize, like, no, maybe I should start going to therapy and start doing the healing, and they start to heal. What would you say is maybe because a lot of people do tend to still struggle with leaving. I don't know why some of us really struggle with the fact of leaving, other than the financial, like you said. So does it go back to the
comfort of let's not get it twisted. Trauma is very comfortable.
Oh, for sure.
It's very familiar. Sometimes it's easier to go with a pain you are familiar with than a pain you have never had power in yet. Right? Healing is not always roses and no. It's a lot of heartache. It's a lot of hard conversations. For sure. It's a lot of surrendering. Yeah. It's a huge homecoming for my spiritual folk, and you also have to realize that who you were, the people may not be there anymore. Yeah. You won't be familiar to them anymore, and they won't be familiar to you. And so that's a lot of conversation and talk. Yeah. And so when people are not ready to change, that's okay. I say, let's make adjustments. Yeah. That's right? Good. And also, I would love to try to save the relationship anyway, because there's a reason why you did get together. Right. There's a reason why it happened. But is your why still there? So when couples come in, I ask them, well, why do you want to be together? Yeah. Like, well, because, we're together.
Well, we done did so many years together. People always love to use the years.
Time means nothing.
Yeah.
Anymore.
That's true.
Time means nothing anymore. But unfortunately, in trauma is past, present, and future. So the truth is that how do you want to navigate your identity? And I hate to say it like this, but in this generation, the way that we value relationships has changed
tremendously.
And so it doesn't really have the same allure that it used to have.
Yeah.
And so I had to create a whole new process of courting to help make people more conscious in this generation about what is the talking to phase, or we just be texting, or we just this, or he bought me candies, or he DoorDashed me Starbucks. Like, we having 3 babies. It's like, what? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like let's get back to the heart. Get back to the heart. Because the truth is that if you are single and you're afraid to date again, is it really because the dating pool is that trash?
Yeah.
Is it really? Like or is it really about the environment that you've put yourself in? Because sometimes it's not about what you have; it's about where you are.
Okay.
And so I'll begin to like the process of dating itself, because
please,
that's a whole other.
Well, we need to get dating right. So that, like you said, I think a lot of us, and I don't even know where the actual shift changed, where, you know, it's not like grandma and granddad anymore, where you really are just trying to get to know the person and make it work and stick with it. You know what I mean? And it really be that authentic love. You know.
But how long do you make it work? And see, that's the problem.
That's true too.
We don't talk about that.
That's
part.
True too.
Like
you're right.
Like, relationships have 2 sides. You either grow together or you grow apart.
Yeah.
You're gonna grow through it, regardless if it's good, bad, or ugly. You're gonna grow through it because you're gonna learn more about yourself. And we think that the bad parts mean that it's not a good relationship. Like, no, this is a learning curve.
Yeah.
You know, even when it comes to infidelity, it's like, I love talking about infidelity because we as Americans see infidelity more important than like kidnapping, murdering. Like, statistics literally say that they care more about infidelity than like child abuse or like just like murder. Wow. It's because the image of the representation versus the authenticity, that is one of the biggest breaks. And so like I have to teach couples that infidelity, when it comes to infidelity even, it's a symptom, not a problem of your relationship. Infidelity is a symptom that something's happening in your relationship. It's not the problem.
That's true.
And so when we have a conversation about that openly, my premarital clients, it's a whole conversation. They're like, well, we haven't done anything yet. That's not the problem. Right. If there's 5 different levels of abuse, there's 5 different levels of infidelity. So like, let's talk about that. Right. So yeah, so we're gonna be going in on this. This will be great.
Listen, and that brings up a good point, because as you guys know, I've been open about when I was in my said marriage that there was, you know, obviously infidelity as well. And you're right. It's not just he wanted to, you know, go lay around with this lady or this lady. It was more rooted in why he felt the need to step outside of the marriage to do, you know.
And I hate to say it, because patriarchy has made it to come out as like men are just like, oh, they're just looking for it, like things, like they're trying to get it.
Right.
And I was like,
they're on the hunt all the time.
No, that's not it. That's true. There's something that they're missing within themselves, and they're externally projecting, which is why men online, especially with like sex addiction, especially like men thrive in the online realm there, because it's instant access of intimacy without the emotional responsibility. Right?
That's true.
Pay to play, pay to see. In and out. I can leave it there and keep it moving.
Got that
instant and they go right back. Yep. Right? And so it's the representation versus the authenticity of relationships. That's what's plaguing our current society. So that's where we at.
Wow.
So we gotta have a formula for this.
Yeah. I feel like you're in your lab formulating this.
Yeah, it's a purple light. It's nice. It's a nice glowy light. This is great. I love this glowy light. Ambiance.
Yes. Listen, we getting comfy and cozy on this couch.
It's Prince lights.
By the way, listen, right? I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Listen, y'all, we having a grand time. So, okay, so I just gotta pick your brain since I got you here. You know, the grand arrival of you is here finally. Yeah. So when it comes to, and I think a lot of, I would say both my beauties and gents probably struggle with this. When you have someone who is emotionally, like, unattached, emotionally unattached. Go back to my notes. Let me get my question right. I gave my question right. When they are emotionally unavailable. There we go. Because I think a lot of us sometimes, again, me and you were joking about this. We sometimes miss the red flags with all of that.
We like to paint red flags green.
Yes, we do, honey, and it'd be
I like
right
my forest green. I like my forest green.
You love it.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
But how can someone, from your expertise, your understanding, how can someone be able to recognize like, oh, this person is not, they're not really ready. They say it. Mm-hmm. But then you start to realize that they're really not gonna ever.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that is a part of. We can't plague that because that's an important part of the dating experience. How well do you offer yourself, and what are you actually giving? Yeah. So when it comes to being emotionally responsible, you learn the difference between giving yourself and offering yourself. A lot of times, relationships say, "Oh, I need reciprocity in my relationships. I need reciprocity. Yes. I need reciprocity." But when you actually get through your healing, you realize that you're not looking for what you're giving back. You're not looking for what you're giving. Right. You're actually, what you want is really reassurance. Okay. Reciprocity is like, I don't want to get back what I already have it. Right. Or I want to get back something I'm already giving. I want something more, or I want something more enhancing, or I want something different that helps me see myself in another way. Mm-hmm. What I'm looking for is reassurance of what I've been doing in my life, what I've been hoping for in my life. Reciprocity ends with what you've already done. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, reciprocity is great, but good for the sprint, not for the marathon. Okay. Right. Reciprocity is good for the sprint, not for the marathon. But what you want is reassurance, because that's safety, security. Right. And in most relationships, we want to feel safe, secure, because if not, we can't build intimacy. That's right. Right. And then the opposite of intimacy is betrayal. Mm-hmm. Right. So a lot of times betrayal will take away the intimacy a lot of times. Oh, for sure. So there's a lot of us females. I'm just saying. It's so heavy. I work with a lot of women that focus specifically on betrayal only. It's a whole process. Yeah. So to restore yourself from betrayal it's a life journey. Mm-hmm. It really is. Yeah. It uncovers so much. Sorry, I went away.
No. I needed to hear all of that. We all needed to hear all of that.
Yeah, but the first thing is, to answer your question, it's about preference and compatibility. That's the first stage. Yeah. Is preference. A lot of us are choosing people and we have no preference.
I agree.
We're worrying about standards and expectations and output. We're not focusing on input. So a lot of times, especially women, they'll often objectify men from an output lens. How much can you provide? How much can you care? How much can you do? Where's your car? Where's these things? Which is why a lot of athletes get so many accolades. Or when people say, "Oh, this person's ugly, but why they got so many women with them?" It's the representation of power. That's true. Right? They're not focused on his heart. And then men end up realizing that their worth is only based upon their output. They never check in with themselves. Then they lack emotional intelligence. Yep. Or they lack emotional accountability. That's good. And then they just use people. Because they say, "Oh, I worked hard. I have these things. Right. You should give me what I want." Yep. Good for the sprint, not for the marathon.
Absolutely. And you brought up a really good, excellent point, because I think that's exactly what happened when it did shift, is that everyone became so fixated on the outward things. Nobody really takes the time to collect the data in dating to really find out what's in the heart. Yeah. And I learned that because I watched this Pop the Balloon reviews with Tony Gaskins.
I think I've seen that before.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think I have a friend that was actually on that episode.
Everybody seems to either have known somebody or...
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. If you ever take the time to watch just one, you'll be like, really? They pop their balloon because of that? A lot of them pop it for the silliest things. But what they're wearing.
But we need that, though.
Really?
But see, this is where I'm again. We need that. What? Preference matters. Preference matters.
Even when it comes to the tiniest little things, though, Dr. Will.
Yes. Preference matters.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you, if you don't have preference, anybody can jump in line. So it sounds shallow. Like, yes. Oh, I don't like the way he wore his jeans. This man was wearing them jeans like that for over 30-something years.
But couldn't the right person be able to change their fashion sense of that?
So it's your job to change them? Once again, what does that mean about you? Why do you feel like you need to change them?
Okay.
I don't know. I never walked through a garden and was like, that rose ugly. Let me take some thorns out.
That's true.
Now you're a good flower.
Right.
Right? So it's appreciating the art and the contrast. You know, even if there is a contrast between that, you don't have to change it. But you learn how to value it in a different way so it doesn't abstain from your ability to love them.
Okay.
But they should earn that privilege of you being able to change them.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So that's preference, but then we get into compatibility. And sometimes we get preference and compatibility mixed up.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're trying to be compatible with people that we didn't have preference over.
Yeah.
Gets messy.
It does.
Gets messy, right?
Does.
Gets messy.
It does.
So, you know, that's why I have to focus so much on preference when people start dating again. Because it's like you don't even know what you want.
Yeah. Now that part I will.
And you're going off of a vibe. Or like, ooh, I love his shades. That's why I'm gonna get him. He got nice shades.
Yeah. See, even that example. See how it can be a little like, are you sure? Because some people just, I feel like, be a little too nitpicky, and I feel like they ain't gonna never find nobody.
But that's a mirror though. If you're attracted to somebody because of the way they wore their shades that day, then why did you want them? What do those shades really represent to you? So then it goes back to you. Why do I need a dude that wears shades like that? What does that mean for me? Oh, it's mysterious. So you're looking for a mysterious person? What does that mean relationally?
Yeah, right.
Like, you want to be mysterious in your marriage in 20 years? Like,
no,
what are we doing with this, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, that's why it's like relationally, I'm very hard on my clients.
Okay.
Because
I can see you don't play no games now.
Especially with premarital work.
Yeah,
like,
that's serious. Yeah.
Because like, you gotta deal with them glasses for the next 25 years.
For sure.
Maybe 30 years. You're not gonna keep those glasses. So what happens when he takes them off? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So I don't mean to be like pedantic about it, but like, that preference is so important.
Okay. All right. Well, you just gave me a different lens to look through in regards to that, because I'll be watching these reviews sometimes and I'm like, nah, they know they was wrong. Like, they could have easily changed their shoes or changed their jeans and it'd been just fine.
But also, yes. But the fact that first impressions mean everything.
True.
I would hate to know that everybody I meet could be my next girlfriend.
That's true.
God, that'd be exhausting.
That's true.
Oh my God.
You're right. You do gotta have some standards to at least go by, you know. So I get that. I get that. Now I am curious in regards to that, because like you said, that it shouldn't be someone's job, you know, in a sense, to be able to, you know, upgrade their wardrobe or whatnot, unless it's really necessary. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Unless they're open to it.
I'm not gonna lie. I dressed like there was no lights in my closet. So
but it works.
And then I met, but no, this is because I met somebody in my life, and and she said, William. She said my full name. She said, I love you. No. I'm with you. Wear these pants. Okay. I said, okay. And then compliments happened. I never had compliments before.
Right.
So, you know, shout out to women. Then changed my life. So, you know, it's real.
It do be real.
I'm looking like a cartoon character sometimes. And it's okay.
But that might have been part of what she
that
liked.
has not changed though.
Okay,
I still, but
these
you see the greens, the monochrome greens?
Listen,
I tried.
That's why I said you together.
I tried.
So.
I tried to go for dark forest.
Yeah, well you did that.
I tried.
Okay.
I tried.
Love it. But I would say when it comes to, I'm gonna say this, when it comes to for people getting together, what would be the better option? Would it be people taking that self journey to heal and then come together, or can you sometimes heal while being in a relationship?
I believe in healing together.
Really? Okay.
So if trauma didn't happen alone, that means healing can't happen alone. It's okay to take a break and like reset, recalibrate, which is why that whole preference is important.
Yeah.
Which is why learning what makes you compatible and what makes you not compatible with people is important. Because if you don't know what you're compatible with, you will settle.
Yes.
Right. So sometimes when we don't create the proper compatibility for ourselves, we end up choosing settling. And so it's important to understand that it's like, what am I being compatible for?
Yeah.
And then what am I settling with? We don't talk about that part.
No, we don't.
Right. And so I believe that, like, especially if you go through a breakup recently, like, take some time to like figure out like what didn't work, why didn't it work, why do I make sure you're becoming emotionally sober. A lot of us are getting to relationships emotionally drunk. And we don't become emotionally sober about things.
Okay.
So, and how do you know the difference?
Right.
It's when you can look back at that person and be like, that wasn't a loss, that was a lesson.
Ooh, that's right.
Right? If you can't look at your last relationships as a lesson and only as a loss or a problem, you're probably still a little drunk. Because the truth is that you can move on to the next person in your life. You have options.
You do have options.
You do. And when you lose options, that's one of the worst, I guess, onsets to a lot of mental health illnesses, is when you feel like you lack option.
Yeah.
You lose autonomy, you lose choice. And what that does is it creates a lot of irrational thoughts and feelings and cognitions that create these illnesses that we talk about today. So, yeah, that emotional sobriety, is important.
So when you talk about the, first of all, you give me all types of terms to talk about a beauty tone dictionary. I'm gonna need me a Dr. Will dictionary.
Gotcha. I'm making a whole book on it.
Because listen, that sober one. Okay, you got me with that one now. So let's say, in regards to someone, how would they even, in the healing journey, how would someone even be able to know like they are at a healing place where they can date again the right way this time?
The right way. The right way is your way. How would you have liked to have met somebody? Have them vision that. Like, can we do a quick exercise?
Let's do it.
All right, so just relax, sit back on this nice couch. Nice.
Clearly, I'm gonna take my shoes off. For this.
Right, so just sit back. Really just take some time to focus on your breathing. In with your nose, out with your nose. Keep your mouth closed. I want you to see yourself just looking beautiful. Wearing the most beautiful dress you have, whatever type of clothes it may be. Your makeup is how you want it to be. Your hoops are perfect the way they are, however you need them to be.
Okay.
And then I want you to just think about where you are. Are you on a beach? Are you on a balcony? Are you in the mountains, cabin? Just really envision yourself there.
Okay.
Then they walk up to you. What do they look like?
They fine.
Yes. You looking up or down? How tall are they?
Oh, I gotta look up. You right.
Okay.
You right. They gotta have a little height. Now I'm a little shorty. I'm 5'3", so I don't take much.
Okay.
But yes, he's tall. He's at least 5'5" or taller.
What color shirt he wearing?
He's got a cream shirt on. Little open button, just so you can be able to see a little bit of the chest. Yeah.
And you got chest hair?
No.
Oh wow. Okay. Smooth. Okay. All right. And he comes up to you and he puts his hand out and introduces himself. And he says, I've been waiting for you my whole life.
See, it's the cancer in me. Like, really?
And do you feel safe with him?
At that moment, I do.
Do you feel like he chose you?
I feel like, yes, he did spot me through the crowd of other beautiful women.
And did you choose him?
Depends if I was looking, but once he walked up to me and had the guts to walk up to me, like, that speaks volumes in itself. Okay. So yeah, he's a looker. Okay. Like I said, he's fine.
Okay. So in that moment, all right, bring it back. Come back. All right, say goodbye to him. All right. Bye. So in that moment, you had preference. You had autonomy, choice. You were thinking about yourself at your best. And you had an expectation.
That's true. Wow. In that short stint, you got all of that. That's good.
So just in that moment, right? You should be able to envision the way you're being received, how you're offering yourself, versus how you're giving yourself.
Okay.
You have preferences about what they have, the shirt, these things, which are very, why a shirt?
Right.
There's a reason why it was unbuttoned openly.
It did, yeah.
You had a preference.
Okay.
And then when he said, "I've been waiting for you," the compatibility is that you wanted someone that's going to choose you beyond everybody else.
Yeah.
So for me, principle one of my healing is the action is never the reason. You didn't want him to choose you. You wanted to know that you didn't have to worry about anybody else between you.
Okay.
So to me, it lets me know that you're looking for something that is reassuring to you.
Yeah.
You want reassurance in your emotional wealth.
Now, is that just a woman thing, by the way? No, okay. Because I feel like us women a lot of times we be needing that, or when we talk about the 5 love languages, that those affirmations be needed.
They're okay. They're okay affirmations.
Okay.
They're okay. Well, when they did the study, they didn't include people of color. There's a lot about that whole thing I don't like.
Okay.
But there's a book called Patterns That Remain by Dr. Stacey Leadham. She made a whole other reset about that. So definitely a good book to read. She just made that, and she's from Cleveland.
Oh.
She dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get that book. I ain't got my pen, so I can write in my picture on it, please. Okay, you got me very all right.
So the biggest thing is just understanding that we have to learn that what we prefer in our lives is also setting us up a perimeter on feel safe emotionally. Because a lot of us are ready to go to the next relationship.
Yeah.
It's what we think we might lose. And that lose is a product of fear, insecurity, conditioning, a lot of these other things that don't really harness our authenticity. But they hurt our representation. So a lot of us are loving based upon our representation and not our authenticity. And we're waiting for someone to love us in our authenticity.
Right.
And people that are healing are literally focusing and investing in their authenticity, not their representation.
Okay.
So that's what's really happening. So like if you have to ask yourself, am I ready to date? Yes. Yes, you are.
Okay.
Do it well. Don't do it right, but do it well.
Do it. Okay. All right. You're right.
Right.
I like that.
And be okay with things not working out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us are so worried about things not working out that we never made it happen at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what are you doing?
That's
Get out
true.
there.
Yeah. Don't be scared, y'all. Just step out on faith.
It sounds shallow, but you gotta live with that.
Yeah.
And why would you want to do it again after it didn't work out?
Yeah.
It's irrational.
That's true. That's true. So. Now, when we speak about authentic and representation, I can't help but to touch on this, Dr. Will, because it's the way of the world now. Them dating apps. Them dating apps.
There's a good, bad, and ugly.
Okay. I like the way you put it because I've only been seeing mostly the bad and the ugly. I rarely get to see the good. So you're saying that potentially these dating apps can be a good thing.
Right. And the golden rule, with self-awareness comes emotional responsibility.
All right.
With self-awareness comes emotional responsibility. If you are not aware of yourself,
yes,
them apps will eat you alive. If you are just trying to have a good time and just enjoy the role, may the odds be ever in your favor. But my thing is this. I've seen successful relationships.
Okay.
Let's just call it what this is.
Let's do it.
We like to talk about, we want quality over convenience. But apps give convenience.
Definitely.
Which questions the quality.
Yeah.
So you can never know the quality unless you go through the convenience of the app. Which makes you have to question your self-worth. And your boundary. Yeah. And the next phase, which is couplehood.
Couplehood. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Couplehood.
Please tell more.
So couplehood, yeah. Gladly. So couplehood is, are we playing the same game?
Yeah.
Some of us like to play tag. Some of us are playing freeze tag. I can't play hide and seek why are you playing tag?
Right.
You're never gonna find me.
Yep.
And a lot of times on a dating app, it's like, I think he's playing tag.
Right.
And then, but he's doing jumping jacks.
Oh, Lord.
We don't know.
We don't know.
And then you were so much in your convenience for so long that you kind of dulled the quality of what you were actually looking for. Or were afraid of saying everything up front.
Yes.
Because then they may not give us a chance.
Yep.
And a lot of men especially will lie up front completely because they know that if they tell the truth, it's likely not going to be in their favor.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah.
So I get my best representation. Mm-hmm. And then you'll earn my authenticity. That's the problem.
That's definitely been the problem. And you know what? Kudos to the ones that really do be on there and will give their full transparencies. Because I've heard some craziness there.
I see some crazy posts.
Yeah, they're like just looking for a good time. Again, being true.
But then they get mad though. But then they get mad. People get mad at them for saying that.
Yep.
So then it's like, okay, well, I won't say that. Hey, I would love to go take you out for dinner.
When in his mind.
When in the back of his mind, he's thinking,
just
I'm getting
wait.
it.
Mm-hmm. Just wait.
Sheep's and wolves clothing. But like I've also like I'm not even trying to be funny. I saw a post recently of this woman that posted her and her partner, and it was just like they're all booed up, and it's like love gone right, and everybody's like, yeah, I'm so proud of you, yes, it's like, and but then like there's this dude that was like, I don't know what something might have been neurospicy, but like he completely just did not acknowledge the social norm of like celebratory culture,
right?
But he was like literally, and I'm not joking.
I believe
this is why he was like, "Wow, dang, I didn't know you were dating somebody. I would have never been in your DMs for the past 3 months. I'm so sorry. I didn't think that you were that way. I would have been way more respectful and talked to you. I wish you would have told me that you were already dating somebody, but I'm really happy that you found somebody for you, and I'm going to keep continuing to find someone for me. God bless you on your journey of love. I can't wait to get mine." I was like, and she liked everybody's post, didn't like his,
right?
Liked everybody's post, and I was like, this man was being authentic about it. He was like, "Yo, I didn't know, and this happened." Which also, let's go back. Let's go back. Representation. You posted this thinking that this man would not post under your post and would just let you scurry on.
Yep.
You all were talking enough, or something was something was happening enough for them to be. Because he said we were talking a lot, and I didn't know. Him apologizing openly, saying I am sorry for this. I didn't know, and she didn't like it also, but you liked everybody else's stuff. So what was the relationship that you were trying to make that didn't work out, and the relationship that you were talking? It's okay to talk about multiple people.
It is okay.
But something happened where you didn't represent yourself appropriately. Or the conversation was not clear about what was moving forward. Right. Which lets me know that there is a communication issue that you, not only him, but you do too. And then you posted your representation to get the celebratory likes. Good for the sprint, not for the marathon. We'll see what happens in the fall.
We will see. To be continued in regards to that, because you're right.
And so once again, it's just like, couplehood matters so much. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so there is, so for me it's like preference, compatibility, then there's companionship, then there's couplehood. We skipped companionship because that's kind of, it's a little different, but but the couplehood is so important because how you're representing each other and what you authentically mean is so important.
That's true.
And so companionship is like with a game we play. Okay. Right? So it's okay to play.
Yeah.
And that's why when you're in the dating world, go play.
That's right.
Go play.
It's okay to go play hide and seek and freestyle.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Just enjoy it. Enjoy the playground. Yeah. Because once you're done, you're done.
That's true. That's true.
Right? So that's why I had to say that story, because we don't communicate with transparency enough.
Yes.
And that's why the dating apps are very dangerous.
They can
because transparency empowers. So like, if you ever want to really like see what someone's really like, what they're really like gonna do, you just say everything up front. You know, there's everything's open. See what part they focus on when you tell them everything.
Okay.
Because they could have it all, right? But they choose only one part. Why did you only want a part of me?
Right.
When you could have had everything.
The full thing. Yeah.
So what's your intention?
Yep. I think that's the biggest one.
But we're afraid to do that.
Yeah. A lot of times we just don't even know how to be social and be able to ask the right questions so we can know, you know, because a lot of times, that's where we miss too. What would you say is the biggest thing in relationships that we're missing? The biggest key thing that we're missing.
Before or after the relationship? Before, during, okay.
Like before.
Before?
Actually, let's hit all three. Before, during, and after. What do you think is what's the missing link?
In the beginning, we're missing intention. A lot of people have high expectations before they get into a relationship because they think that having a high expectation means they'll have a quality person. Right. It's not true.
Absolutely not.
During the relationship, we lack a vulnerability because we came in with an expectation and a impressionist mindset. Always about impression.
For sure.
And representation. And then we tend to kind of fall into vulnerability because we get into romance. We think romance is vulnerability. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. Don't do it. And then afterwards, we start realizing that there's a difference between having a connection and having an attachment. And a lot of us have created attachments and not connections. So that's a whole other lifestyle that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And relationships are really not able to separate attachments and connections. And those dating apps are hives for attachment issues, right? Wow. It's a playground for attachment. So, you know, I've seen really functional attachment relationships, but you see how they're slowly dying on the inside.
Yeah.
You know, you can see it, and their partnership dies. Right, and then they think having a child or getting married is gonna like restore, reclaim, you know, but like a redemption.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not the case.
So when it comes to us out here and us finding love, I don't call you Dr. Love so bad.
You can do Dr. Love. You know, I like Dr. Fields because
they're Dr. Fields. Let's do Dr. Fields.
It's more. It's feels. It's all feelings. Yeah.
So when it comes to us really finding the person, what is our better way of approaching? I don't know. What is our better way of approaching when it comes to dating? Because you said that step one is you realizing, am I ready to date? Yes, you are. Okay, cool. We get out on the playground. We go play the field.
Yep.
So how do we know, I guess, when we have found that person?
The simple answer is they enhance your way of life. Okay. They make it easier to be they make it easier to be myself. They make it easier to learn myself. Okay. They allow me to make mistakes and we can recover. I don't feel like it's about good, bad, right, or wrong. We are just experiencing each other. Yeah. You don't feel like you have to make up for something that they may not have. You don't feel forced to have to let go of something, right? Hard conversation isn't about a hard conversation. It's about awareness. Yeah. It's about me entering your world and knowing that we can just embrace what we've always been, right? That's right. I can finally talk about my past, present, and future and know that there's no cost to letting myself open. Yeah. And true intimacy, right? Yeah. Like the reason why people even have sex, you don't even realize why, but the more intimacy is truly, the more I'm into you, the more I see myself. So that's why I want to be more into you, Okay. It's because the more that I get into you, the more I see why I love myself.
Oh, wow.
That's true, pure intimacy. And the more you learn about me, the more you're going to learn to love yourself. You find love in your limitations when you're truly intimate with somebody. Okay. So that's really a space like when you can get to that place. It's beautiful when that person becomes your exhale. Right. And so it's really beautiful when you can just, that's when you know that your person is like, you make me love myself more. Wow. It means I would have never dealt with this stuff before. So that's
why you said that you tend to heal together, like through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, like, and also when you're in your healing, and let's say there's a trauma bond that happens, right?
Okay.
And you're in your healing phase, and then here's trauma bond coming in. You'll recognize and be able to speak and articulate the issues that you're having. Wow. And they have a choice to either adjust and trust, adjust and trust, or they might leave and never learn. Right? If you're truly in your healing phase, you'll be able to speak because you'll be more emotionally responsible. And when someone's coming to you and saying like, hey, the way you do that kind of affects me, I don't really like that. Yeah. If they respect you enough, they'll be like, oh, let me adjust or let me learn from that. Yeah. And if they're not ready to handle that, because they probably didn't do their own work, and they probably see it as an offense, and they get defensive to protect themselves because they haven't learned.
They put the guard up then.
Adjust and trust. If you can't adjust and trust,
wow,
you can never change.
You don't have anything. Yeah. Your red pill community and how they are affecting the beauties, and it's really causing that conflict when it comes to dating, when it comes to trying to find that person, when you got them just speaking however they feel. So it's just really just men that are just unhealed, basically, when we just put it in a nutshell, huh?
Yeah, well, you call it men that are not healed. I call it men that are afraid to be seen. Okay. Right? There's a lot of men that are afraid to be seen because we've been loved by our representation and our authenticity. There is a bunch of men that do want to be loved, want to feel loved, want to be nurtured. And specifically, especially with black men, it's... How much do I say?
Just tell it all. Spill all the tea, okay? You are on Beauty Toe, by the way.
We're all out, so that's good. So, I love black men so much.
Yes.
Me too. And we have so much to offer.
Yes.
If we knew what we had to offer. So I'm going to say this once. I'm not going to repeat this. I don't have to say it again because I don't want to repeat it.
Okay.
If men in general, doesn't matter any type, if men understood or accepted and surrendered and were not afraid of the fact that our job is to literally protect and serve women.
Yes, I agree.
Then women would finally accept how powerful they are. Women do not understand how powerful they are. At all.
Right.
And a true man, especially when you talk to like older men, like when they're in their 70s and 80s, they understand that our job is to truly protect women. Yeah. Because the truth is that women, not only do they create the life, they also preserve and they restore life and they nurture life. And the amount of work that women do behind the scenes and the development of it all. If you just ask them like genuine, like I know, like for me, like I'm crazy when I was going on dates, I'd be asking like all these ridiculous questions. I'd be like, I'm great at dates. Like sometimes like I'll do like, let's do restorative dates, like just teach you like how to like, this is how we date. This is how you communicate in a date. This is like to reset it. Because like I'm like an extreme, like I am like top notch dating material, right? So like so the thing is like I ask women like, what is it like to feel protected? While we're eating chicken Alfredo. Like, what does it feel like to be protected? And the things they talk about are fatherhood qualities.
I can imagine that.
I'm like, when's the last time you've ever felt safe? When's the last time you felt secure? Who was it?
Wow.
Why? When's the last time you felt intimate with somebody? When's the last time you felt like you were the most beautiful person in the room? Why do you love what you do? Why do you love your profession? Is it the job that you've ever wanted? What relationship do you feel like is something you could never let go of? These are questions that help build the floor for intimacy.
Right. Wow.
Because once I learn these things, I learn how I can serve you.
Okay.
The problem is that with men, we are servant leaders. So like for instance, from just traditional stance, right? It's traditional. When a man goes on his knee to propose to a woman, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means. Tell me what you think that means. What does it mean? I'm going to tell you what it means, but I want to hear what you think first.
So a man gets on his knee and finally proposes to his beauty. I feel like that's just him finally, him coming to realization that this person is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And the getting down on one knee, I think it just gives his complete vulnerability, because he's no longer, he's not up, standing up, asking you. He's coming down and under her level, like, that he really does see you as his queen, That's how I feel.
That's not bad. I give that a 7 out of 10. That's 7 out of 10.
I'll take it.
7 out of 10. Yeah, that's passing. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So, for me, when a man goes on his knees, what he's really saying, right, principle 1 is action's never the reason. It's the representation of servitude.
Yes.
Right? What he's asking is, will you let me serve you? Will you let me be the person you can rely on? Will you let me be the person that will go out my way to make sure that you are secure, so that you can continue the legacy and the lineage of love that I have for you?
Wow.
Will you let me continue the legacy and the lineage of this love that I have for you? She has to say, I do accept the worthiness that you may produce from me. I do accept leading you into the legacy and lineage of our love for each other. Because without her, it wouldn't make sense.
True. It's true.
So for him, he's willing to say, I'm willing to serve you. But then a lot of times men don't know what it means to really serve them, because they never asked the questions that I was asking earlier.
Right.
To say, like, am I up for this journey with you?
Wow.
Am I up for this servitude for you? Am I ready to protect and serve you? Because the truth is that when I'm biased, because I'm a man and I have a mother that's amazing, and I had so I'm a little biased, but but when you recognize that when I put 2 of myself into a woman, she's gonna give me back 4.
That's true.
Whenever you invest in a woman, she gives you back more than what you ever did with. And the truth is that a lot of us as men don't realize what we're actually giving to women. And we have to start offering ourselves to women, not giving. And we don't, and am I allowed to cuss? Okay. A lot of men lack dick discipline.
Okay.
Right?
I agree.
So men don't have the discernment or the discipline of how they learn and love their bodies.
Yeah.
Like, I've worked with men, just like, let's just talk about loving your body. And we go from the toe, the knees, the dick, the pelvis, the hips, all that. Just learning all that.
Yeah.
Because they don't get to learn that. They're learned to put their bodies through extreme athletic or performative result-based mindset. Yeah. With women from the age of 12, 13, they're starting to get hips, the body, the chains, the curves. They're learning how to, they're just forming. And for us, we just get like lopsided, Adam's apple, and then some weird hair here and there. It's like weird, it's awkward, And so there's no like passion of exploration.
Wow.
Other than performance.
Okay.
So a lot of men, it's teaching them how to get rid of the performance and be present with their partner. Okay. 3 P's, right?
That's right.
Performance, presence, partner. Okay. Man needs to know what their presence does to a room. Black men need to know what their presence does to a room. When you see a bunch of fine black men against the wall and they all sitting there looking nice, when you see the whole 100 black men in suits walking down the street, when you see, the brothers walking around with the black, all the black and the black tie, right? It's more than just a look, right? It's a beautiful thing when you see men that care and love themselves. Yeah, definitely. Right? It's a beautiful thing. And so I just feel like I find that women don't know how powerful they are because they've been taught to not be powerful. They've been taught not to love themselves, love their bodies, love the differences, love these. And so we have to retrain that, recondition that. And black men need to realize that their presence is power. You don't have to perform anymore. Yeah. Be present. That's it. And recognize that you are worth being present. Because men don't have that. We have output, we don't have input. Wow. So a man's perfected input is presence. Okay. So that's what I mean. And like, romance is great. Yeah. It works for the sprint, but not the marathon of intimacy. Okay.
I almost feel like that needs to be the title at this point.
Whatever you want it to be. Whatever you want it to be.
I'm giving some thought. What y'all think? Y'all put in the comments what we should title this.
Give us a title.
Because this is good. Because Dr. Fields is giving us all of what we need to know to be able to learn, to be able to grow, to be able to better ourselves and for our partners, because potentially we all want that right person. But again, it's doing the work, evaluating yourself, evaluating the person.
Ooh. Is it the right person or we want the right love?
That's a great question.
Are you looking for the right person or are you looking for the right love? Some people separate those two. Wow. And a lot of times we do feel like we have to do that.
That's true. All right. So which one we doing, y'all? Are we doing it as a collective or are we trying to separate the two?
I'm curious what the poll would say. What's the poll say?
I am too. Y'all better hit it in the comments.
Are you choosing the person or are you choosing the love?
Listen, I want to hear it too. Put it in the comments, y'all. Y'all know I be reading and I be replying. So come on with it.
It's gonna be great.
All right. So listen, we've been having some good tea time with you, Dr. Will, aka Dr. Fields.
Yeah, you got it right. That was good. Right. That was good.
So listen, as we kind of come to this close, is there anything else that maybe you would like to be able to promote? Whether just any last words, I guess I should say, in regards to what we've discussed, or maybe didn't get a chance to discuss. Or you got any questions for me? I always have a little fun when my guests, hit me with the curveball of questions.
Okay, I got you. So I'm gonna do like a recap of the phases.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna say one thing for people trying to find love. Okay. And then I have 3 questions for you.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Okay. Whew. All right. So
all right, let me get myself together.
So the best case for relationships, right? Development is learning your preferences. Yes. Write out your preferences. I prefer these things. I do not prefer these things. Yeah. Right? They can be shallow. It's supposed to be on the surface. Wow. Right? Let it filter it out. Okay. Let it filter it out. Right. Then we get into compatibility. What things make you compatible? Sometimes being a day person and then dating someone that's a night person is not compatible. You shouldn't have to settle so quick early in the game. Do not settle early in the game. That's good. Then we have the companionship phase. Companionship is what games are we playing? Yeah. Do not play tag with someone that plays hide and go seek. Know the rules of your own game. All right. Especially in the dating life. Yeah. Know your own rules. Yeah. And if those rules don't break your rules, you can't play the game with them. Stop playing the game. That's right, yeah. Then when you get into couplehood, couplehood is all about how do we represent each other. So when we're finally a couple, how do we represent ourselves as a couple? Yeah. And how do we treat ourselves authentically? What you do outside the house, what you do inside the home are 2 different lives. That's true. It's real. That's right? True. And then we get into partnership phase. Partnership is all about the functionality. How do we function as a relationship, right? if you're living together, if you're not living together, it's how do we function? So how do I rely on you, and how do you rely on me to make sure that we have the best day we can have?
Okay.
Right? And then lastly, it's the marriage phase. Yeah. And the marriage phase is all about, are we creating a legacy or are we creating a lineage? Because your lineage is not your legacy. The legacy is, what does your love produce? Right? It's more than just children. Yeah. Right? So what is our love actually supposed to create in this world together? That's when your two visions become one. And you have to be strong about the visions that you're creating together. Wow. So that's the phase. Preference, compatibility, companionship, couplehood, partnership, marriage. And then passion can swirl all between that. Okay. That's the vibes, the feeling, the shades. You know, the shades that you might like, the button open cream chest, the smooth chest. The passion, that passion can do all that. Okay. Passion swirls through all that. Yes. And the last thing I'll say for people that are looking for love and thinking about going forward in it, what I will say to you is, remember how much you matter. Yeah. Remember how much joy you can have for yourself. Remember that you creating on your own, doing art, learning something for yourself, find your passions. Yeah. And let those be things that you can offer to share with the next person that's in your life. Yeah. And sometimes it's not about who you are, it's about where you are. So it may need to be a scenery change. Okay. You know, you may have to stop going to the same bar. Right. You might have to go to Barnes and Nobles. Yeah. You know, might have to go on a golf course when it gets warmer out. You know. Right. They got restaurants there. I've heard. Yeah. So I mean, my thing is, sometimes it's not about who you are; it's about where you are. Okay. So your community might be the one thing that's affecting the options for the next stage in your life. And lastly, have fun with it. Have fun. And if it doesn't feel like fun, get out. And don't paint those red flags green. Please don't. Stop that. I don't care how pretty the green is. I don't care how. Don't paint it yourself. You are the green flag. Okay. You are the green flag. You are the green flag. Okay. Yeah. I like that. So now it's your turn. Ooh. All right. Ooh. All right. Ooh. So we got levels. Y'all. We got levels. Oh. So you want level 1, 2, or 3? All right. Let's go with level. Let's go with level 2. Level 2. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So, Brittany. Yes, Dr. Wheeler. You ready? I hope so. Take a deep breath. Okay, that was good. What's something that you feel like love means to you now that it didn't before? Oh gosh, okay. What is something in regards to love that I realize now that I did not before? This is just a warm up. That I know. That it can actually. That it actually exists. Is that bad? Ooh, love actually exists. That it actually exists. When you, oh Lord, now I'm feeling like I'm about to be teary-eyed. So you joked around and said, with the tissues. But yeah, I would say even, from childhood, not really knowing what that really was, to adulthood and my first marriage and me not being able to, exemplify it as well. I couldn't really give what I didn't know about. But to finally be in this phase of my life where, oh, this is what love is. That someone actually takes the time to care about you, to be selfless, to think of you, to teach you, to be patient with you. Like, wow, so this is what it can be, where you actually get excited about it. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was a thing. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay. Next question. Level 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, that was 2. So let's go with baby 1. Okay. We go 1. Baby level. That's okay, that's good. What did forgiving yourself look like in your journey of love process? Oh man, forgiving myself. First of all, you were not lying when you said that it's first of all eye-opening.
and then it can be painful. It was cringy a little bit too, because when you realize, when you really do take the time to self-evaluate and self-reflect and realize the errors of your ways, you know, because a lot of us like to talk about the good qualities of us, but none of us really want to talk about the not so great, and what all work I need to do to better myself, you know, for you. You know, it's not just for the other person, but it should be for you. So forgiving myself was it took time. So again, we talked about how everybody wants things quick, and you would like to get even that you know, you would like to get that quick, but truly it takes time. It takes time. Yeah.
Okay. And last question.
Oh gosh, level 3. I don't know why I went to second step to come down to the first.
That's a catapult.
Now I gotta do the whole leap to the third.
That's a catapult. You catapulted though. You catapulted. That's a catapult. You got this. You got this. You got this.
All right.
So you're doing level 3.
Level 3. Whew.
Okay. You get a choice.
Okay.
Past or future.
Let me take a sip. Oh. We refilled them, y'all. Okay, you gotta refill. Let's go with. You know what? Not everybody likes to go this route, but let's go to the past.
Past?
Let's do it.
Put your hands up. Put your hand out. Okay. So, what was the lesson of love that was taught to you by your mother and father? And which one did you take with you and which one did you leave behind?
Okay.
So my mother taught me
lessons in love when it came to mother and father.
Individually.
And
then which one did you take with you and which one did you leave behind?
Okay. So this is going to seem probably fairly odd. But because, you know, I told you I didn't have the most best upbringing, I would say that love-wise, I'll say I took from my dad, because that one I can say that I did authentically get to experience what a parent's love can feel like, you know, what it is to have a person of safety, and to be able to know that care was there. So I would say that would be dad.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. And what I learned from mom in regards to love is, I would say, I guess that was when I first realized that generational curses can be real, and that some people can't show love if they didn't really know what it was either. So I guess it helped me to realize when I did the, you know, fast forward and self-reflect for myself, like somebody had to be the chain breaker in regards to that, because she couldn't show me that love that I think deep down inside she wanted to be able to, you know, and she did the best that she could. So I accepted that. So that's what I got from each parent. I accepted that, you know. And then what I was able to use today is.
I said, which one did you take with you and which one did you leave behind?
Okay, well, I left behind, I guess I left behind that one, because not being not being able to love, I'm gonna leave that behind, because you can love.
And so you went forward with your dad's love.
I moved forward with my dad's love of that caring and that nurturing and being that safe place and safe space. Yeah.
And then what are you learning now about?
What I'm learning now.
This is the future part.
That love is, I believe love is sacrifice. You learn to sacrifice for the ones that you love.
So who sacrificed, your mom or your dad?
I would say, well, in regards to that, I would say to a certain degree both. Mm-hmm. Because again, mom did the best that she could, so she did mm-hmm. sacrifice what she did have as far as resources, mm-hmm. means, what little she did mm-hmm. have about love. She did. She sacrificed. Mm-hmm. And I would say that Dad definitely sacrificed because, again, there was a time and point where he had to take me in a little, probably mm-hmm. earlier, unexpectedly, in regards mm-hmm. to, helping me to finish, mm-hmm. School, and figured it out, mm-hmm. figured it out along the way, of being a parent. Because my parents were very, very young when they had me. So mm-hmm. Dad still, liked to party and run the streets. And, I'll be a father when I can. But I think there was a time where he decided to pivot and really be more full-time, fully involved. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I know I want to ask a future question, but I won't do it. That's good. Okay. All right.
That's going to come with part 2, clearly, y'all.
Right. So was that hard? Level 3, was that hard?
Level 3 it wasn't hard. It was just, I did have to dig in there and pull some things that I haven't done in a while. I haven't done in a long while, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it hit a nice little tender spot.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you get to share that with someone that you are currently with, or you're sharing that with friends or people that, and just think about, am I loving from my father? Am I loving from my mother? Mm-hmm. Am I afraid because of my mother, or am I afraid because of my father? Right. Okay. A lot of times our love opens up those channels. Right. Right. And the more you love somebody, the more you're going to see yourself. So. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Thank you for blessing us with your presence and your knowledge and expertise. Like I said, we needed to just hear it from male. Yeah, I told y'all I like to have my gents on, and we really, take topics and really expound on them. But it's another level when we can get it from someone who has studied it, who knows what they're talking about, not just talking.
I truly live my heart. I live my mind. I'm very emotionally articulate. Yeah. And there's different levels to it.
It is levels to it.
And I always appreciate being able to speak with full articulation with people that are at the same level of willingness. Okay. And you don't get to have that. So I feel very emotionally privileged with you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. My heart is filled, because you asked me about my heart. My heart is filled today. Good. This is a great day.
That makes me happy.
Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm. From our neighborhood therapist. Thank you so much.
Right down the street. 10 minutes down the street.
Literally.
Right down the street, yeah.
Listen, I'm going to pull up on you now.
Come on, we right there.
Speaking of pull up on him, you guys, make sure you also check out his episode on the Pull Up Experience podcast, where you guys have seen if you haven't seen, you need to go ahead and catch that episode and many, many more. Because again, my boy B, Bree, Steve, Stam, the list goes on, and I hope I ain't miss nobody. Nakia, woo! So whole team over there as well. That is fam. That is gang, like Brandon would say. And again, you guys are rocking with Beauty Toad. I know that you guys are feeling and tuning in with the Pull-Up Experience as well. Well, again, thank you so much, Dr. Will. I appreciate it. Or should I say Dr. Fields? Because you definitely helped me to get some feels for sure. And I hope that this also bless you guys as well in regards to your journey, whether it be in your single season, whether it be in your dating, whether it be in a healthy relationship, or whether it be that you're getting ready to walk down that aisle. So listen, I want to hear all of the beautiful stories. I love, and I would definitely love how this particular episode helps to help you see a different perspective of what you need to maybe work on or better seek when you're looking for that person. So I can't wait to hear you guys. And listen, I love you guys so much. And make sure y'all subscribe. Just saying. And I'll catch you guys next time. Again, let's make a change.